Good morning, everyone. So my bouquet has bloomed out. It's huge. The lilies are blossoming. So I had to pull the I had to pull the bouquet out into the middle of the table up there in my kitchen because it's a tiny table and I already had it about this far away from the wall, so the table was really taken up, with the bouquet, but it's really pretty and I don't want to move it because it's just really pretty. I like it. But I had to move it out even further because those big hybrid lilies are blooming out. And it was starting to get squished with those blooming. So I moved it out to the center of the table. And now the whole table, there's no room for me to do a reading up there. So I'm down here in the sunroom. I see Luke has made his way to the couch. Luke, what are you doing, buddy? Every time you get up there, it takes me an hour to clean all your hair off of it. You got a nice bed. He doesn't care. He likes the couch. So anyway, there's Luke. He's going to be hanging with us. So we're down in the sunroom. This table is a lot bigger. It's huge. It's huge compared to the little table that I have upstairs. So we're going to be doing our reading down here because there's no room on that table. And this table's finished and it's bigger and it's easier. It gives me more room than moving into the living room and reading off of my chest. So this is where we're going to do the reading, and I hope that the lighting's okay. We're going to have to make it kind of short because I'm nowhere near a plug-in. And so I don't want the battery dying. But we're going to take a look at the jabs today because that's one of the things the universe said it wanted to speak on. So you know what we're going to do? We haven't done it for a while. We're going to pull a card from the Rider deck. And we're going to just check out the energy that we're in right now. Not that we don't know. We're in a huge energy. And one of my friends told me this morning over Messenger that Boone Cutler passed away. I believe it was yesterday. So that's very sad. Another patriot gone, right? That's very, very sad. Yeah, Luke's moaning. He's a moaner. So let's just pull a card and see, what the universe is saying is standing over us for energy in the moment. And we'll just get a bead on that, you guys, first and foremost. With one card, please and thank you. So don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channels. More than likely, that's scammers. Don't follow anybody soliciting you for anything. Those are scammers. And obviously, the healing intentions are set for you folks. Always, always, always. So if you so choose and you want them, go ahead, stand in your power and decree that for your highest and greatest good only and always. All right, so let's pull a card and get a reading on true story. Only the truth is welcome here. The type of energy that is going on collectively right now. One more. Let's check out the collective energy. Seven. So the collective energy, I'm sorry, there's a glare. That's the Seven of Pentacles. The collective energy is feeling a little downtrodden right now. They're seeking with that seven. They're seeking information. They're questioning things. They're looking at things. But they're feeling downtrodden. The collective's energy feels as though there's a feeling, an overall feeling of all this work being done, but not prospering from it. And that's an overall collective energy. With this card, though, people aren't looking that they haven't finished. So we're not, like you might look at the work that's gone in and say, oh, we're not getting from what we have done what we were expecting. But this card is a reminder that there's still more work to do. That's why there's that Pentacles sitting there on the ground between his feet. It's like, well, it's not over yet. It's not done yet. Not all the work is completed. And the 7 above says, pick your shoulders up and your chin up and, have a better attitude and continue to seek. And there'll be proof. So that's an interesting overall energy collectively. That's a collective energy. So if all of you as empaths are feeling a little down or feeling despair, pull yourself back and see if it's actually your feelings that you're picking up on or if you're picking up on the despair of the collective. Because as an empath, it's very easy to pick up on the collective energy and carry that as if it's your own. And it's not. And so we have to center ourselves. And that's why it's really good to do our own emotional work, spiritual work, shadow work, so that we recognize our own feelings from that of others so that we know what's ours and what isn't. But that's what's going on collectively. So now that we've seen what's going on collectively, you guys, let's take a look at what's going on universally. So we're going outside of the collective energy right now, and we're going to look at universal energy. What is the true energy that's driving us forward right now? So that's what we want to take a peek at right now in the moment. All right. So the universal energy, the energy of spirit, the energy of our beautiful Mother Earth and nature and our Creator and our highest selves and our spiritual teams. The universal energy is driving us forward, not the collective energy, which is that of all of our egos going out there and building, but the universal spiritual energy that is umbrellaing all of us to drive us forward right now in these times that we're in. So let's take a look at that and see what we get there. Please and thank you with one card. Let's look at the universal energies. It's I'm a little slow to roll this morning. It is Friday. And it is the 19th of September in the year 2025. At least that's what we call it. We call it the day that we call Friday. We call it the date that we call the 19th. We call it the year 2025, and we call it the month of September. So let's see universal energies right now. The big picture, the universal energy. Please and thank you. One more and we'll cut them. So let's take a look there. See what we get. The universal energy right now. Universe is ushering in some balance here on the earth plane. So the universal energy that we're dealing with right now is bringing in balance to this earth plane with that too. And it's the earth plane, obviously, with the pentacles. But also with this, even though it's the pentacles, if you look behind, there's those big waves. And so it's emotional. So the universe is working its magic to bring in some emotional balance here to the earth plane. So that's what's going on universally. That's what's going on via spirit. That's what's going on with all of our highest selves, the agreements that we're here, bringing some emotional balance to this earth plane. It's a lot of imbalance, which we know. I mean, it's been seriously imbalanced for a while, right? And we've seen it get worse. So universal energy is really working to create that balance. So we as empaths can pull ourselves back out of the collective, shake off the heaviness that we're feeling. If we're picking up on the collective energy, the depression, the despair, shake it off, do a nice clearing on ourselves, and then focus our energy to go out there to help in creating some emotional stability, healing, and balance. Send that out into the collective to blanket, to help bring people back to center. I know that we've all been working to do that. A lot of us have for a long time, but it's definitely needed. There's a lot of imbalance. There's a lot of emotional imbalance, a lot of mental illness, as we've seen. And it's rampant, and it's encouraged, and it's coddled, and where it has been, I think we've reached a turning point on that. But let's aid any way that we can in this journey of bringing in stability and emotional balance here on the earth plane. All right, you guys, so there's that. So thank you all for being okay with my home production. The comments, thank you. Very supportive of what we do here and how we do it. And I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that it doesn't matter to you guys. It's the content that matters. It's the connections that matter, and the professionalism, fancy lightings, fancy microphones, fancy cameras, all of that. You just don't care. You don't care about the background noise and all of the other things that happen here on this channel. So thank you. I appreciate your support in that. All right, let's go with the rider deck. Let's put the rider deck back, and let's go with the Deviant Moon deck today for the reading that we're going to do on the jabs. The universe said they would like to have a conversation around. Oh, I gotta fix my nightgown here. The universe said they would like to have a conversation around autism. They gave us that hyper-focused Page of Wands, and they gave us the Three of Swords out of the Rider deck, and I can't remember the other two cards that went with that, but the whole story was they wanted to focus on information around autism and our young, and the jabs and the disappointment. I wish I could remember the other two cards, but I just can't. So anyways, I do know that RFK is supposed to be bringing out information around that, and if he hasn't already, like I said to you guys the other day, I've been totally off of social media. We've been really busy. So we've actually torn into the outside of the house to do some repairs, to fix some rot and reseal some things and do stuff. So we've been working our asses off doing that. And so we did that, and we got things repaired. And now we're to the point of, like, every night after work, we're out there wrapping the house with Typar and taping things off, and using the Grace Ice and Water Shield and caulking. And it's a lot of work in the evening on top of chores and dinner, and exercising Luke, and all of the things that I have to do anyway regularly. And now we've got this big project plus everything else going on in our lives all the time. I swear. But we're really trying to get to a point within the next 5 years where any maintenance or upkeep is going to be really simple for us. And that means a hell of a lot of work right now. And yeah, it means a lot of work right now. So it is what it is. And today we have my boyfriend's sisters are coming over tomorrow to do lunch and stuff with us. And so today, after I do this, I'm going to be doing a whole shitload of cooking, and then I'm going to be outside doing that later on, more outside wrapping and taping, and we have to climb the ladders and get up high because we're going to be working our way up towards the peak. So fun, but we've had really good weather to do it, so that's good. It's been nice and dry and warm. So anyways, I just went off on a babble. Sorry about that, you guys. Thinking out loud with all of you. So yeah, let's use the Deviant Moon deck. I just think it's a really good energy to use around the shots. And I think the other card that we got the other day when they said they wanted to talk about this was the Five of Pentacles, which is a human suffering and really makes you sick. You're suffering done on purpose by the systems, but it also affects vibration. So we had that card. We had the Three of Swords where it's going down through the heart. The pointy things, the jabs, where also you're not being told the truth about them. Right? There's a little bit of truth around vaccines with a lot of lies overlaying them, and it's, creating heartache and damage, low vibrations, illness, sickness, human suffering, a hyper focusing on things like autistic kids will do. They hyper focus on the one thing, or they're totally withdrawn, right? I can't remember the other card that was in that little bit of a spread. But, I know why I went on the ramble about everything we're up to, because I've been off of social media. I haven't had time to really listen to anything, so I don't know if RFK has presented his reports and his findings yet or not. If you guys know, let me know, please, in the comments. But let's just see what our Creator, our highest selves, and our spiritual teams want to say regarding this subject. So let's start. I guess I'll start with a card for them to show us the focus, or what they want to start with one card. And then what we'll do is we'll do a 7-card spread. We'll get a pathway. We'll do that in a story. So please and thank you with one card. Start the conversation as far as the vaccines, the damage that they do, and the autism that it can cause, along with other illnesses, and the drop in vibration and the lies being told, and all of that with the story that you started the other day when we finished, when you said we didn't have to continue on with the Charlie Kirk readings, but that there is more, and that more stuff is going to be coming out around it, or another time to talk about it will arise. So let's just get with one card, please and thank you. What you want to say to us before we begin the 7-card spread in regards to the vaccines and the damages that they do to our children, which, ends up being with all of us adults as well, because childhood injury lasts a lifetime, right? And then a lot of people are still going and they're getting flu shots and pneumonia shots and COVID shots and all kinds of shit. So Let's just see, please and thank you, where you want to start. And I will cut them. What do you want to start by saying to us? Justice is coming when it comes to the popes. So this is big picture, you guys. And in this deck, if you look, this is justice, but he's holding two swords and they're straight up and they're pokey. So justice is coming for those who have promoted these jabs and these pokes. That means vindication will come for people who have either been sitting on the fence, they've been doing their own research, but they're not really sure of themselves, they're insecure in what they believe or have found. They'll be vindicated. And they'll know that they're on the right path. Because justice is going to come out and tell the truth about this. And in this card, if you look, there's stuff climbing out from underneath his robe. It looks pretty ugly, right? And he's grasping some things in his hands. These fish look like they're pretty, like they're down in the depths. Like there's something that you would find way down deep, low in the depths of the ocean, right? The scary, ugly looking things. So all of the ugly truth is that they've hidden in the darkness, in the shadows, because his robe is black, right, is going to come up. And people are going to find out justice is coming around these vaccines. So that's what they want to start us with and let us know, is that justice is coming around these pokes. And that's an 8, so that's infinity, that's highly spiritual. That means that a couple of things. So these popes done with these swords were done for money, right? Without a care in the world. Because 8 represents also very, very much a money number, right? In abundance and money. So people are going to find out how the companies that created these popes and promoted them, and the doctors that pushed them, sorry, because they didn't look into what they were pushing, but they took kickbacks. All right. They got a certain amount of money for a certain amount of jabs that they were able to get out to people in a certain amount of time over a period of a year or whatever. So the truth about the money behind it is coming out, as well as the ugliness about what's in it. Okay, you guys? So justice is coming. There's a lot that will be said around these jabs and these popes. So let's shuffle that back in, and now that's where they wanted to start. That's what they want to tell us. So let's take a look at a 7-card spread. Let's let them talk a little bit more. A 7-card spread, please and thank you. Showing us the pathway that we're on right now regarding these jabs and the story that you would like to present us with around it. Please and thank you. I'll just shuffle it a little bit more. Thank you to everybody that wished us a happy anniversary as well. Yeah, so my boyfriend and I grew up together. We were very, very close friends. And then our lives went off into different directions, obviously. And, you know, we would run into each other sporadically here or there, usually at the grocery store. And then I ran into him one day earlier in September after I was at a friend of mine's, their twins' birthday party. And I ran into my boyfriend later on that day, and we chatted and we caught up a little bit. But then I saw him again like a week later, and we sat and talked and talked and talked. And then like a week later, we ran into each other again on September 16th. And we remember the date very well because it's the day before his birthday. And from that point on, we just were pretty much inseparable, literally inseparable. Just, yeah, every day we talked or saw each other. So yeah, we came back into each other's lives. Really, from that moment on, we've been connected at the hip. So that's the day that we celebrate. We're obviously not married, or I wouldn't be calling him my boyfriend, right? But thank you all for the happy anniversary wishes. All right, so let's get that 7-card spread around what the universe would like to say around the information of justice coming around these vaccines that have been damaging people. Please and thank you. One more. All right, we're gonna cut them. We're going to get our 7-card spread. The Empress, healing. Rejoice. 7, on path. I love this deck. I think it's so cool. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Wow, this is a nice layout, you guys, so far. Very nice layout. Justice has come up again. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay. Yeah, you can see that all. All right, you guys, so here we go. Let me just tell you what we've got down. So the card that's leading the pathway is the 2 of Rods or the 2 of Wands, however you want to call that. That's the energy that's driving our pathway forward. And then above that, where we're at in the pathway, the energy right now is the 4 of Rods. It's basics, it's simplicity, it's bringing that balance in, it's working to create balance. And then right above that, we have our Page of Cups, which for me is absolutely the child card, because that's all about the childhood emotions. It's everything childlike, right? So that would be the pathway that we're looking at. We start the story with the Empress, and the story goes out from there. So it's time for healing. Above her, we have Justice. Across from her, we have my On Point, On Path card, right where we need to be. With that 7, it's seeking that knowledge and that wisdom. And then above that, we have the 5, great change coming. And that's the Pentacles. And with that 5, that's always chaos, right? But that's Pentacles. And we're talking about systems right now that produce jabs where justice is coming. And so it's great change would be coming to that system, you guys, where they've had their eye on us to make money, but they've kept us blinded to what they were all about. And I'll pick the cards up and I'll show you what I see in these cards as we go. But I just wanted to give you a basic gist of what we have laid down. So let's start with our pathway and the energy that's driving it. And again, you know, we're talking about balance here. So it's the 2 of Rods, and we're talking about vaccines and vaccine injury and what's happened to our children. So the major energy, the build of energy that's driving our energetic pathway forward to receive this justice and this healing around the vaccine, the truth about vaccines, is that 2 of Rods, and that is like it's balance, and they want you to know with this card, because that's our day-to-day, we've already begun this harvest. Now, what that would mean to me is that the energy is already doing something with these vaccines to create balance in them. So what we may be hearing right now and what we might be thinking right now, it would be inaccurate, because we think that the vaccines are still bad, but they're saying that there has already been a harvest to create balance within these vaccines. So I'm obviously not a doctor, you guys, and I would never claim to be. I'm just a tarot reader. I'm not making any medical claims in any way, shape, or form, right? I'm just a tarot reader reading to you what I'm getting here. But to me, as the reader, that would tell me that something behind the scenes has been going on within these vaccines. So they've already taken out things, or begun taking out things out of these vaccines that were causing harm and injury, and they're just not saying it yet. Or they could possibly be giving, possibly the vaccines that are on the shelves right now are saline, for all I know. But there's already been a harvest that made the balance happen within these vaccines. So secret missions, because probably they knew that they couldn't just, there's so many people that really are medically in alignment with these vaccines. They would be shitting their pants and thinking that something horrible was happening if all of a sudden people said, oh, we've taken the vaccines away, or we've taken out all this shit out of the vaccines because you don't really need it, or whatever. People would be freaked out because they've all been mind washed into believing how desperately these things are needed, right? So, but there's something that's gone on. The energy that tells this story says that there's already been a harvest that created balance with that too, within this subject of vaccines. It's just what I'm getting. I mean, you don't, like I said, and like I always say, take from this what resonates, toss the rest. They can tell me this till hell freezes over if they'd like, but I'm never going to go get one, regardless of whether they're telling me they're harmless or not, right? But this is what they're saying anyway. So take what resonates, toss the rest, and again, this is just what I'm getting. So that's that energy driving the pathway forward. Right now, where we're at, it's saying they've taken them back to the basics. The vaccines that we're seeing on the market right now, they're saying there was already a harvest to create balance. They did all the work with that 4 of rods. They did all the work to create the balance. I want you to see in this card, see how that nice little simplistic house behind these 2 lovebirds is all lit up. You can see the little lights on it. So what this card says to me in regards to the vaccines is that what's in these vaccines right now are actually good for you. They would be part of what's going to work to create balance within the body, because you can see that the body of the building, the house back there, that which shelters us, which is our body, right? And our soul resides, our heart, our emotional body, and all of that resides within our body. So that body back there is lit up, it's sparkling. So apparently there's some stuff, I would say, that they've worked to put into the vaccines that are going to help to create the balance within the body. And people work together very lovingly, very caringly to bring this simplicity back in to help heal people, okay? So again, this is just what I'm getting. And then above that, it was with the Page of Cups, to get the healing for our children. So what I'm seeing here in the pathway, you guys, because that is at the very top, that is our children. So it's all about our children. And of course, our children, our babies, are the ones that are on these vaccine regimens. Adults may not get a shot but once a year for their flu and their pneumonia or whatever, unless they're going for their 1 millionth COVID booster as they buy their COVID tests, and they still wear their masks because they're so traumatized, which I realize is happening still with some. But I think I think a lot of people have moved away from the COVID scare. But for the children are constantly getting jabbed up. What did I say? It's like 75 or 76 shots go into a child before they hit kindergarten. That's a lot. That's a lot of poison dumped into the kids. So with the kids in mind, according to what I'm getting, they harvested the bad stuff. They did the work to put good stuff in that will actually start to heal and balance the bodies in our children. This is what I'm getting, you guys, just what I'm getting. If I'm sounding cynical, it's because I'm jaded, okay? So I know they're telling me this, and I'm very good about trusting. I trust my guides. I trust my God. I trust my highest self. But there are some things that I am so black-pilled on, you guys, that I sound cynical because I'm jaded. And I am sure that you guys have noticed that for me, it's also with those damn chemtrails. I get pretty cynical and pretty jaded. But like I said, I will not get a jab. And they can tell me they've healed them all they friggin' want until they're off the market completely, or until I see proof of the actual healing with my own damn eyes, miracles occurring or whatever. I'm gonna remain jaded, and I think that's natural, and they know me well enough to know that's just how I am. They tell me shit, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, but are you sure?" I'm like, I'm probably a huge pain in my guide's ass, honestly, because yes, I trust, and there's a lot I just trust, but I'm also I've been through a lot and I've seen a lot, so my ego is huge, right? And so I have to do that ego work and reason with my ego all the time. And there are places that my ego is really big. It's really big. And vaccines and chemtrails are just a couple of them. So, if all of you have that same response, believe me, I get it. I mean, we're human. We've seen too much. We know too much. It can be hearing this stuff, it's like, yeah, well, I want to physically see the proof, right? I want to physically see it. But this is what they're saying. A lot of these vaccines have been harvested. They did a lot of work to put some good stuff in. So they harvested the vaccines, and then they've done work on them to create some balance, put some good stuff actually into them. And this is all in mind of healing, balance, doing the work to create balance, to bring that balance, that healing back into the children. And through these cards also, you can see that they've given us the child card. They've given us the highly emotional child cups with that child card with that page of cups. And so what they're letting me know is a lot of these behavioral problems, emotional disturbances, and behavioral problems with the kids is also due to these jabs. So it's not just the physical ailments, you guys. It's not just the brain. It's not just the mass brain injury with the autism and Asperger's and whatnot. It's all sorts of emotional problems within kids. And I think, as a mom, my son, when he was growing up, his class, there were a lot of brats in his class. And I say this with great love. I mean, kids are great. I'm not saying they're not. These kids acted out. They were like really super bratty. So the ADHD and all of this shit that you see with children, the behavioral issues, they don't want to listen. They act out. They're bratty, angry. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we were seeing with kids, and a lot of people had their kids jacked up back then with everything that there was going. And even then, it wasn't as many as it is now, but it's just gotten worse. And what they're telling me here is that those are issues created from this subject that we're on. So all of this emotional bullshit, you know, when you look at kids today and you go, or when your kids were growing up and you go, wow, they act out far more than, you know, our classmates or whatever. It's because of the jabs. So it's created all this shit within our kids, and they've harvested them, and they've done work to put good things in there to help heal them, as we have. The topic of the story is great healing with the Empress. So rejoice, they're saying, because all of this work was done to heal these children, okay? So the Empress is that 3, it's healed. And if you look, she's beautiful. She's sitting there, her rose, you know, the stem of that rose is all wrapped around her. It's in full bloom. She has on her beautiful purple cloak. She's very connected to Source. You know, her crown, she's got the lights on her crown. She's very connected, but she's sitting on something very earthly. So she's very connected to the earth. She's very intuitive. You know, there's roses blooming up all around her, around this landscape in this Deviant Moon deck, around this landscape. And I know you won't be able to see it because the cards are kind of dark, but it's a landscape with thorns, where it used to just be thorns, right? And now the roses are bloomed. It was a very harsh landscape in this card. And so now the roses are blooming everywhere behind her. And she's sitting on a checkerboard, you guys. So like she's very connected to the earth, but there's the black and white checkers beneath her. And that is the dark and the light, right? And the polarity there. And she's healing things, right? The light is what's healing. And she's healing the earth, but she's also very healed within her crown, her body, very connected to Source. So what that tells me with this card to begin the story is that great healing is, you go up diagonally from that and you'll see there's that child card at the top of our pathway. So healing is there for our children. And it's telling me that the reason why these were harvested is because they were bad for our children, right? And they want to heal our children. And what it's telling me with this Empress in this deck, you guys, is that these jabs were creating a situation within our children that actually stopped connection from Source. And stopped the godlike DNA within our children. Did something to cloak our God code. So there's a lot to these vaccines, more than many might realize, because there's a whole spiritual level to these vaccines that were used to disconnect people from their God code, to disconnect people from their ability to connect psychically and spiritually, to make people physically ill, because she's very much physically healing as well, and to create imbalance within our children, the emotional imbalance, the spiritual imbalance, the disconnection, and something to cloak the God code. We all have the God code within us. For me, in this deck, that's what that purple cloak represents. And So there was something in these shots that cloaked the God code, covered the God code. And what I'm seeing as I say that, I've had Lyme disease for I mean, goodness gracious, nearly 20 years now. It's going on. Time flies. So I've had this bioweapon in my body that I've been dealing with for over 20 years. And what these spirochetes do, you have to keep yourself very, very healthy, right? But what they do is they build these hard, very hard, impenetrable houses inside of us. And when our bodies are not optimal for them to thrive, they go into these shells and they hide. And periodically, they'll send out a spirochete to see if the environment is hospitable for them. And if the immune system is low, the spirochete will go out, and that creates a hospitable environment for them. And they come back and they let all of their little asshole buddies know that have been in hiding in their very protected housing, that it's okay to come out and raise hell in our bodies and create havoc. And if a spirochete doesn't come back, then they know to stay hidden because it's not hospitable, and our body was able to like kill it off. So when they're telling me that they've done something, that the vaccines did something to cloak the God code, that's almost what I see. I see our God code as like sparks of light. That's what I'm seeing, sparks of light, just like on this 4, where you see the little dots of light within us, right? And then I'm seeing that the vaccines build very hard shells around our sparks of light. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. How they're allowing me to comprehend what they're trying to say to us by telling us that something in the vaccines cloaks our God code. So it dims our light, which is very, very interesting to me. And so because of this, that is very much, you guys, inverting what is sacred. If you're cloaking our light with by means of injecting us with something, then that is not only a crime against humanity in a very physical and spiritual way, but God's going to be pissed. You know, God's very loving, but that's like not playing fair. That's almost like it's taking your free will away from you, because it's cloaking that thing that would ignite something in you that would make you more aware of your conscience and what felt right and what felt wrong. So they're deliberately inhibiting people's consciousness, and that their compassion, their empathy, their conscious behaviors, not so able to maybe gauge even emotionally what's right and what's wrong, because they're cloaking part of us that sparks that light, which moves us in a particular direction. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So justice is coming in for that, and it's going to lift this darkness up, and it's going to expose the ugly, and it's going to expose the money making behind it, but also the dark agendas, because there's that dark cloak. The fish are very ugly. He's holding the 2 pokey things in his hand, and 8 covers him, right? So 8 is infinity, and it is money. So justice is coming. But justice is above healing, you guys. So healing came in first, is what they're saying. And they said that with the harvest, right? So they harvested, they healed, they worked to create the balance that would start sparking the God code within us again. And across from healing, with that sparking the God code, lighten us back up, healing the body, our body. We have the Seven of Rods, which is that we are on point and on path. And they're telling us it looks scarier than it actually is at the moment. And that would, if you look, it's because this harvest goes up diagonally to this Seven of Rods, right? So they've already harvested it, they're saying. We're on point, we're on path, they're saying. Seek the information, seek the knowledge, seek the wisdom. We should be able to find some truth and some proof, they're saying. They're saying our path is lit up and in full bloom and extremely healthy right now, even though we may not know it. They're saying it seems scary, like, right? And the reason why I say it seems scary is because if you look at this card, it's a little girl. She's like 12 years old, out there in the middle of the night, walking down this path, not even with a full moon. It's pretty dark. It's just a crescent moon to light her way. It's so dark, she's got her hands in front of her. She's trying to kind of feel her way down her pathway. But the pathway is all bloomed. It's a healthy path. So though it seems scary, it's like a healthy path that we're on right now. We're on that healthy path because of this energy that's driving this reading, saying they've already harvested these vaccines. And they did the work to create the balance to light things back up within our children as they get these jabs so that they can heal them, reconnect them to their God code. And it's a very healthy healing path, they're saying, even though it seems scary, right? And it seems scary as we go up above our pathway that's telling us to delve into this. They're saying delve into this because we should be able to find some proofs or some information or some people out there that might be given this information. I don't know. It seems scary because of what we know above that. Oops. Because of what we know above that with our Five of Pentacles. And for in this Deviant Moon deck, the Five of Pentacles is very different than in the Rider deck, right? So if you look at this card, this Five of Pentacles, you'll see that it's a structure. It's almost like a clock. It almost kind of reminds me of the old grandfather clocks, but it's a structure. And it's set up to keep its eye on people. And it's all about creating money and keeping people blinded. So if you look at the person beside this structure, which for me is a system, it's watching people closely and wanting and not gauging, but building its wealth off of people. But it's very important to keep people blinded so that they can't see. So if you look, there's one eye. She's like, she can't see. She's blinded in one eye. So it's really important to keep people blinded. But the system is going through some great change. And it's a chaotic change, which makes sense, you guys, because if you think about it, there's been information around vaccines and vaccine injury and the damage that they do for a long time. All you got to do is delve. And so they started creating the whole, trying to make the anti-vaxxers. That was a division, those dirty anti-vaxxers. You know, if you don't get your vaccine, your kid's vaccinated, they're going to make our kids sick. It was the most... My son actually had a falling out with a friend way back in like 2019, a friend of his, because they disagreed on that. And you know, he said, you know, I love you. Let's just agree to disagree. And that wasn't enough for her. She was right. And she was trying to steal his power by forcing him into that same shade of gray that she was, where she was right. And it's important to get these things. And my son is much more educated around that stuff. And you're not going to steal his power ever. He's a very strong individual. And he stuck to his guns. And he said, look, we disagree. And you can't make me believe or think like you do. and we can still be friends and agree to disagree, but we disagree. But she was so emotionally triggered over that they've lost their friendship. And sadly, I was actually privy to that conversation. I felt really bad because we were riding together. I was with him in his car. And so we were getting ready to leave, and we had just jumped into his car, and his phone rang. And this whole conversation went on in front of me, and I felt so bad. And I was hoping that she would have some logic and come around and actually be as, this didn't have to be as bad as it seemed like it was going to be. But all these years later, no, they're not friends. No. And that is on her part, not on his. And so, we've all dealt with losing people that we were super close to because we're awake. and the division that has been created between people has created a lot of chaos for people that are awake and those that are not. And so as this system changes, and over the years, more and more and more information, and more people have sought more information that's right out there for everybody to find, has come out, and people have learned more because mainstream still pushes their agenda and their rhetoric. It's caused a bigger and bigger divide, which has created a lot of chaos. But more and more people have found out and have shifted position on these vaccines. And I believe that is why you're seeing all of this chaos around that. I also believe that's why you're seeing that this stuff has been done in the background with the harvesting of it, because there are some people that are still quite blinded and they don't understand, and their minds would explode if all of a sudden they lost something that they thought kept them and their children safe. So things were done in the background is what this reading is saying. But we're on point, we're on path. It's a healed journey, fully bloomed, brought balance back in. That's right where we're at. So these are the three cards right across us. This is where we're at. This too is the energy that got us here. This harvesting of these vaccines is what brought in the healing. It's what is sparking the light back into the body. It is what put us right on a healed and bloomed path, even though it seems scary because we don't know it yet, is what they're saying. But that justice will come in, and that is when you will see justice is coming for those children. But the children, if you look up diagonally, because that's in the middle, so the Empress goes diagonally to the child. The on point, on path card goes diagonally to the child. So it's saying these children that are receiving these things right now are being healed. They're on point, on path, even though it may seem scary to us because we don't know it yet, because we're still in the dark around. We're still actually in the dark around the healing that's taken place and the harvest that took place. We're still in the dark, but they're saying it happened. And then above us, justice will come for our children and expose these systems, these structures that have been working to keep us blinded and make money off of our demise. And that system is crumbling, going through its great change right now. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. Take from it what you will, toss the rest. But this is what I'm getting, okay, you guys? So now I'm just going to pull a couple more cards. I think that's pretty good. But they wanted us to know it's already... I guess why they wanted me to read on it is because they say it's already done. We just don't know it yet. We're being kept in the dark around it. So in the future above us, these systems will crumble publicly, but the healing, the harvest already happened, and the healing is already here. And the spotlight is going to be the kids. That's how justice is going to come in for the kids. So it's you might not hear the COVID shit. It's not going to be I know a lot of people wanted it to kind of start with the COVID stuff, but and I think I got this a long time ago, the justice with the vaccines is going to start with the children, with the childhood vaccines. And that's what it's saying. The focus is going to be on those childhood vaccines, the systems that pushed them, that kept people blinded around them, and justice is coming. The dark things that they put within those jabs, the ugly things within the jabs, the dark agendas behind them, how they kept people blinded and didn't tell the truth in order to make money, and how that created despair, physical despair, and a lot of emotional problems. So they're going to be showing, when justice comes, all of the emotional problems. You know, I know a lot of people say, my God, why don't those parents control their kids? I know a lot of good parents that had out of control kids. And what they're telling us here is that it's vaccine injury. So the vaccine injury is much more than just autism and Asperger's and death and SIDS, and it's much more than that. They've disconnected people from their God code, which stops them from having their psychic connection to source. It makes their physical body unhealthy, as well as their spiritual body, their mental body, and their emotional body. So there's a lot to these. It's a very dark agenda with that black cloak. And it was all for making money, and they enjoyed it because they like to create the chaos, right, and the physical despair, and keeping people blinded from the truth. So that's what I'm getting, at least, you guys. Take from it what you will and toss the rest. But this is what the universe wants me to deliver to all of us today. And it's a great reading, and I love seeing this, and I really love seeing this. But there's no way I would let anybody jab me or my loved ones with anything. Whether they say they harvested it and they put shit in it to make it better, or what, I don't give a shit what they say. No one's coming at me with one of those things. But I like hearing the message, and I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm not trying to be an asshole right now. I appreciate you. My guides know I do. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the way that we communicate, and all the different ways that we communicate, the way that you guide me and lead me and heal me and enlighten me. And I appreciate you sharing with me so that I can share on the channel. I'm incredibly grateful, but you also have been working with me my whole life, and you know that I'm also cynical and jaded, and you know how I am. But I do appreciate the message, and I love the message. I love the message. So thank you. I appreciate it. But I still would never go get one. Or, you know, if I was a young mother, I wouldn't be getting my kids done. That's just me. I want to see them gone. Or until I can see the physical proof, until we're out of the dark and we're seeing the physical proof. I would just never go get one. That's just me. And I bet it's you guys too. I bet you guys all feel that way too. But this is the message they want to convey through me today. So let's see. I'll let him give a couple more cards and we'll close it out. One more shuffle. I'll cut them 3 times. I'll pull a couple. Because I don't have you plugged in. I'm nowhere near an extension. I'm nowhere near a outlet. And I didn't want to have to dig through the closet in the box that has the extension cord, so we're not plugged in. So the battery is probably about to fade. So 2 more cards. I guess I shuffled them more than I said, but it just felt right. So 2 more cards. All right, so the 2 more cards that we're getting, you guys, is the Magician. So the Magician is another Higher Arcana card. So now that makes 3 Higher Arcana cards. They start our story out with a higher arcana, big picture. They show our future, higher arcana, big picture. And what just laid above, what just laid over our justice and our healing is the magician. And the magician has many tools, so there's many messages in that. Many tools that will bring in many different ways that will usher in the justice on the vaccines. Many different things that have brought in healing, they're saying, that created the balance, that brought the healing to the kids. Many different things that they've done to create this balanced healing that they're bringing to the kids, okay? And then the other message with that is, what we're doing is right now we're living in an illusion. The magician covers the healing, so the illusion is the healing hasn't happened. The magician covers the justice, so the illusion is the justice hasn't happened. So what they're telling us now is that justice has already happened. But it's just like with the healing. It's covered. We're in the dark about it. That's what they're telling us. Okay? And so the next card that comes in, we're living through an illusion. So the justice has already happened in the background, but we have to move forward to see it. The healing's already happened in the background, but we have to move forward to see it. We're being kept in the dark about it. And then what comes over the illusion is the happy ending for families. And they want you to know that it's not just the kids, it's the adult shots as well. There's that harvest that happened. This is a happy time for the children, for the families. We've reached a completion is what they're saying. Okay, a completion of the way things were being done to our kids, a completion of the way this system was keeping us blinded and hurting us physically, emotionally, financially, all of those stuff. That's actually ended. We should be rejoicing because that is on our point on path card and our balance for all card. So again, it's like we're living through an illusion and this stuff will come forward, but it's already happened is what they're saying. Let's pull one more card. And we've got the 6. Remember that we're loved. That's the 6 of Swords. Remember that we're loved. This feels like a very alone journey. This is like we're all up in our heads and our egos. That would be me and my ego around this reading, right? We're all up in our heads and we're all up in our egos and we feel like we're alone. You know, we have all this information and we feel like we're so alone around it. But they want us to focus on bringing balance back into us, get out of our ego, and trust that all of the healing is coming, that we're on point, on path, that we're loved by the universe, you guys. And instead of tapping into our ego like I am when I tell my guides, when I see it, I'll believe it. They're asking us to tap more into our intuition. That moon is full right there. And we're being covered with divine love, birthing something new. So tap more into our intuition. They're saying, Lorri, tap into your intuition and not your ego. Get out of ego for a minute and feel your way through this so that you can actually, like, through our higher guidance, our connection to source, to get the information and integrate it into my own body so that I might feel better around the stuff that's happening, so that I can bring joy in, right, around this stuff instead of being so cynical. So that's the message there. Know that we're watching a show. That's my media card. The moon is ending things. We've got a lot of higher arcana cards. So step out of ego. Know that we're watching a show. It's to show the people. It's to unbrainwash the people and to show people the dark and the light with this card, right? Because that's my media card. So we are literally watching a show, the universe says, and it's to unbrainwash people. This card really shows brainwashed eyes, the way they represent them in cartoons and stuff. So we're watching a show between the dark and the light to unbrainwash people and and it's being done in love, you guys, with that 6. That's also another 6. That's divine love, right? Birthing something new. And then the 6 of Swords, we're being covered in divine love. Allow that divine love to seep into the ego. But it's all an illusion. The things that you're seeing on the world stage literally is a show. And the magician, you know, it's a huge illusion. Across from the show, the moon says, you know, the people that you're watching on the world stage are puppets on a string. They're being puppeted. That would be the everybody, that would be the we're controlling them thing. We're controlling them to expose the darkness and the light, to deprogram people. But the moon is ending a cycle, but they want you to know that as this cycle ends, the people on the world stage with this, you know, with my media card here, where it shows the puppet show, literally they are being puppets. These are my double puppets, okay? So there's a lot of acting going on the world stage right now to deprogram people. And it is for this happy ending. The moon's already finished this cycle for us, okay? We're on point and on path. The moon's already created a happy ending for us. The moon is part of the exposure for these systems that have been doing harm. So they're saying we're just watching a show. And as far as our children go, with this Ace of Rods, we've already begun something new, much more nurturing, much more healthy. This is all about our children, okay? The harvest happened because the harvest card now lays underneath our young mother with that newborn baby girl, and everything has bloomed around her with that new beginning. The harvest happened already with the infant shots for our babies, for our kids. Okay? There's you just don't know it. Above that, you have that 6 because of divine love, because of creator, because the universe, it's a time for that to end. The information is out there. We can find it. We can find the information that things have already shifted as far as the jabs go. They're saying with the 7 as well. But because this is my ego card with that 6 of Swords, and the information is off to the side, skewered, and we're all up in our heads feeling all alone. With that skewered information, that means that those swords can be tipped upright. So we would be able to find that new beginnings have happened. So let's start looking and remember that it's all a show. These people on the world stage are playing a part. They're being controlled. They're being puppeted. They're saying, Lorri, find the information that there have been changes met. Get up out of ego. The children are important, and this is all about the kids. Something's already begun there, you guys, to heal them. It's already done in the background. That's what I'm getting, you guys. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. But that's the message that they wanted us to know. And so everything that happens from here on out, they are saying, according to what I'm getting, it's all just a show. It's already been done, but it has to play out, and it is going to. That's what I get. So with that, I hope that brings you some sort of value. If nothing else, some hope, right? Again, this is just what I'm getting. Take from it what you will and toss the rest. Until next time, you guys, I love you all very much, and I hope you have an amazing Friday, a beautiful day, an awesome weekend. Know that I'm wrapping y'all in big, big, big hugs, and sending you all lots of love. Always, always, always. Stay high vibing, guys. We've got this. All right. I love you. Bye.